I think if people understand if people understand that we are working against the agenda of transnational corporations, they will have a better focus on what is actually happening. I will speak about that this morning because the European Roundtable of Industrialists has been setting the agenda of the European Union for the last 30 years at least. And if we do understand that, then we will be able to mobilize, I think, a great many people, trade unions, environmentalists, people working against hunger, against homelessness, in many, many areas. We can organize a lot of people. But first they have to understand who is the adversary, who is the enemy. And for me, that is the whole agenda in Europe, which has been set since Jacques Delors was years ago, in 1985, became commissioner. And he thought that that social Europe would come after economic Europe. He was sure of that as a good social democrat Catholic. And he was wrong. And we don't have social Europe. What we have is transnational corporate Europe, where competitivity is the big word, that is the thing you have to follow. And we need to get away from that and say, no, not competitivity, cooperation, so that citizens are included in the future. They're being excluded from their own future. And that is what is happening, unfortunately, pretty much throughout the world. And that's what the trade treaties are about, by the way. Yes.
What opinion do you have about this?
Well, I think all the trade treaties, so-called trade and investment treaties, are not trade and investment treaties, really. Or there are little changes in the tariffs, little changes in the investment laws, maybe. But the main thing is that these are being overseen by corporate interests, and what they want is greater freedom. They want the state to be the corporations to be able to sue the state if the state passes any law or any directive which says to the corporations, I'm going to touch your profits, even if they're future profits. So that's called ISDS, investor to state dispute settlement. And that's what the corporations want. They also want to set the regulations so that the regulations on food, on pharmaceuticals, on housing, on the environment, etc., are as low as they can possibly go. So that's the real agenda. And unless we understand that, we will keep on signing every treaty that goes by. I think
politicians are doing anything about it?
I think citizens are generally aware. They know this is existing, but they're worried more about, will I keep my job? Are my kids going to be okay? Are they going to be well educated? Is my mother being taken care of in the hospital? You know, all of these things day to day, which is perfectly normal. But it's very hard to get climate change on the agenda, although it will change everything. And that is, it's not that people don't know about climate change, it's that they don't realize that it is going to change everything about their lives and their children's lives and make them very much worse. So we have to be fairly pessimistic about this, because if it is already, if it's taken off, it will be exponential. It's not 1 + 1 + 1. It's 1 + 1 + 2,000, because it's exponential. It isn't arithmetic, and people tend to think of change as progressive, +1 + 1 + 1, nice straight line. Not at all. It's 1 + 1 + 1, and then a curve that you cannot stop. So That's what I worry about most. I'll be dead. I will be dead, but I have 4 grandchildren, and they will be alive if they reach my age. And I worry about this constantly. It's the main thing that I think is wrong.